Ka Hala Yahweh by Yashem Yahushua. Double honors to the apostles and the elders that rule well. And peace and blessings to you brothers out there that's kicking his word in sincerity, also in truth. Here we have a picture of the false Messiah. This is a picture of Chesedek Bozur, which is not an accurate depiction of the Heavenly Father. Well, actually, excuse me, of his son, which we know his name to be Yahushua. And why is this image so important? Well, imagery is important because it represents something. In this case, is representing, this is supposed to be representation of the Son of the Most High, and also this is a representation of the people of God, So imagery and the uses of it, is very, very, very useful in spreading, the truth or lies. Now, we know this was used to spread a lie. You see, this is the same image with that image, idea, if you will, that Christopher Columbus came over here and destroyed the Native Americans. You see, and this is why this image is so important. It's important to dismantle. That's why I want to say it's important to dismantle this image, or proclaim that it's false, man. So let's get to the scripts. First Maccabees 3:48, and laid open the book of the law, wherein the heathen had sought to paint the likeness of their images. Now this was there in the time of the Maccabean revolt. Now Maccabean revolt started around like about 160 BC. You see, this was during the time of the Greeks, So you always had Edomites that were trying to forge their blessing. And they did that. One way that they did that was they changed the image of the Heavenly Father. And it happened again during the time of the Renaissance, which again, Chesedek Bozur, you see, which was the son of, Pope Rodriguez. You see, they have always came and lied and changed not only the image, but the idea of these scriptures. These scriptures aren't all inclusive. And these scriptures, doesn't give you a license just to freeze willingly and just ask the Lord for forgiveness. That's what you see going on in Catholic Church. They're raping little children under that image that you just saw. And they say, oh, you know what? We could just ask for forgiveness. Mighty God, which is nothing but debauchery. And all they have to do is just ask for forgiveness. So they get out their system and then just have ash and they're good to go. All this was built under that image, man. And the imagery is very important, because our people are bound down to it. You see, Matthew 24:24, for there shall arise false Christs, false Mashiach, hopefully I'm saying it right, and false prophets, and shall come and shall show great signs and wonders, insomuch that if it were possible that they shall deceive the very elect. And that image of Jesus is a false prophet, a false Christ that we have seen for centuries, man. And a lot of people that were a part of the elect used to, bow down to that image, man. I had a certain reverence to that image. I didn't believe in it, but I had a reverence towards it, growing up in church and things of that nature, man. So the Most High allowed me to be able to come out of that, and I'm sure that other brothers had that same testimony, man, So I say all that to say this imagery is very important, man. And I'm actually reading a book by John, what's my man name? John Henry Clark. And it's called Christopher. Hold on, just 2 seconds. Let me get the title. It's called Christopher Columbus and the African Holocaust, Slavery and the Rise of European Capitalism. And then in his intro, he said something that was I thought very interesting about imagery and the points of it. So let's go to that particular page. Now, this is the book Christopher Columbus and the African Holocaust, Slavery and the Rise of European Capitalism, page 18. He says, what the Pope seems to have forgotten, if he cared to think about it at all, is a concept of Christianity created by Europeans for Europeans, and that this Christianity is now a handmaid of European conquest and expansion throughout the world. Dr. Ben Jakanan has said religion is the deification of a people's culture. By extension, I have also added religion is the deification of people's politics and power intent. So when you see images of a white Jesus, that is a representation of Edomite supremacy. That is a representation of their power, intent, and also politics. You see, they use the premises of white Jesus, as a means to put them up on top as a dominant race, and gave them license, and that gave them that falsehood gave them the justification for putting us into slavery, because they deemed that we weren't human beings and they were the chosen people, man, which was false. You see what I'm saying? And just for edification, let's look up that word deification. Now, this is that word deification, according to a dictionary that I have. That word deification is the act or process of deifying, the condition of being deified, one that embodies the qualities of a god. So that image that we would just examine at the beginning, that was the embodiment of a false god. Of whose god? Of the god of the Edomites, man. That word deify says to make a god rise to the condition of a god, to worship or reverence as a god, deify a leader, to idolize, exalt. And that image is reverenced as a god, man. That is a representation for people who are under the spell, and also the Edomites. That's a representation for their god, man. You see, and that god, that God was, when you look at the intent of the Edomites, has caused nothing but carnage, havoc, death, and confusion. You see? Why is that? Because that is a part of the so-called white man's sword, you see, which is falsehood, man. And a part of that falsehood is, basically, putting up a false god, man. Isaiah 47:1. Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground. There is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans. For thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. Take the millstones, and grind a mill. Uncover thy locks, make bare the leg, uncover the thigh, pass over the rivers. Thy nakedness shall be uncovered, yea, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man. As for our Redeemer, Yahweh of hosts is his name, the Holy One of Israel. Sit thou silent and get thee into darkness, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called the lady of kingdoms. I was wroth with my people. I had polluted my inheritance and given them into thine hand. Thou didst show them no mercy. Upon the ancient hast thou very heavily laid thy yoke, and thou saidest, I shall be a lady forever, so that thou didst not lay these things to thine heart, neither didst remember the latter end of it. Therefore hear now this, thou that art given to pleasures, that dwellest carelessly, that sayest in thine heart, I am, and none else besides me. I shall not sit as a widow, neither shall I know the loss of children. So now, what do you have going on? You had the Most High exposing the so-called white man. You see, he was wroth with us, and now he's sending his son back. I mean, even before his son, he's sending his word to his elect, and we're waking up when we are crying out to the Heavenly Father, man. You see, you had these Edomites who thought that they were going to be able to get away with the lies, forever. But this Most High let them know that, hey, guess what? They're sad and mistaken. The daughter version of Babylon is going to be exposed, man. Which we know to be this place. You Edomites are being exposed. You see? And also you will be taken down physically, chiefly by the Heavenly Father, and also by his plagues. And that's what you see going on now. The most so-called white man is being exposed for the lie that he is. And the huge way that he's being exposed is that image, that little nuance, of white Jesus is being dismantled, man. So call Allah Yahweh Bashim Yahushua.